everyone, this is Brett. I'm back at Eagle Peak Trail, and I believe it's the 27th of January 2022. Been a long while since I done a video just for the sake of doing a video and speaking freely without any kind of scripting. It's been a tough couple years, hasn't it? Well, we're almost at the 2-year mark. I guess it's been 18 months or so since this whole crisis has begun, this world crisis that we're in. And isn't it interesting how we have all of these politicians and bureaucrats and merchants of the earth who go around and tell us what we should be thinking and what we should be believing, and telling us what we should be doing and how should we go about what we do, and this whole incredibly horrible experience of having to make public every health decision you make, which is utter foolishness if you ask me. You know, whatever happened to privacy? You know, you don't have to make public your health decisions in your life. They're private, and they need to remain that way. But anyway, I'm an advocate for the truth behind the lie, which is the revelation that we're given in the Bible. Since this is a Bible-based channel, we use Bible-based reasoning to define our walk and our witness, and to openly declare what we know to be true, is that Jesus is the Christ and that the papacy is the Antichrist. And this is nothing new. It's been around for a very, very long period of time. And there are those that wish that this type of reasoning would be wiped out in the world. And looks like they're getting their wish. And they're wiping out true followers of the faith left and right in any means possible. The end justifies the means. Remember the motto from our enemies. Yes, they are our enemies. They're not our friends. You know, I know that the Lutheran Church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, for instance, has declared the Jesuits to be their friends. So if you are a listener new to my channel and you come from the Evangelical Lutheran Church, of America, I highly advise you to, one, get yourself a King James Bible, preferably a 1611 King James, the old King James, and get yourself some old Protestant books like Martin Luther's Against the Roman Papacy, an Institution of the Devil, and just kick back and read that for a little while. And maybe you'll discover what I discovered, that the Lutheran Church was infiltrated hundreds of years ago. and is in its steady decline as we speak. So, there's a lot of rhetoric going around right now about certain brain chip implants that Elon Musk has proposed to bring to the world's attention. One of the richest men on earth at the moment, Elon Musk. Yeah, incredible. Incredible what these people get away with. But you know, they're rich people, rich men. They have wealth and influence. And everyone admires them, don't they? Well, no wonder so few people have any idea how important it is to read their scriptures, read the Bible. Let's talk about that for a second. How it is to be a person. You know, as Christians, should we be persons? You know what a person is? A person is not such a good thing. What did Jesus say? Deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. What does that translate into? What does that really mean? Well, if you come to my channel and you ask me, I would tell you that it means deny your person, pick up your condemnations this world has placed on you, and read your scriptures. Because nowhere else will you find what the Spirit of the living God has to say in His living word than in Scripture. It's just that simple. You know? You don't have to believe me. Do your own research. But that's what it means. Pick up your cross. That means pick up the condemnation this world has placed on your back. You know? Because they're going to place condemnation on you. They're going to make you the root cause for all the world's problems. Isn't that what they're doing right now? Oh, this is such a lovely place. Even in the middle of winter. You know, winter is a time of death. It's the end of the year, actually. Isn't it interesting that they changed the year just after the Reformation? As the Counter-Reformation was getting its doctrines and getting all of its theologians together, you have the rise of the Counter-Reformation. Remember? Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy, through vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. Book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. This is very important. Are we to be theologians as Christians? No, I don't think so. Are we supposed to use theological terms? I don't think so. It's simple. Let's keep it simple. Remember? Keep it simple, stupid? Yeah, that's an old law. An old motto. Yeah, I think everyone should adhere to it. By the way, I'm on the top of the, what is this called again? Eagle Peak little trail here. This is kind of a hill. I don't really call it a mountain. It's just a hill out in the middle of the woods. It's a big rock, actually. Big rock face under the snow here. Beautiful place, actually, where I live. And it's quiet, and one can come out here and not be obstructed with any of your standard distractions in life. And in fact, that's kind of the problem with this life. There's so many distractions, aren't there? It's hard to concentrate. It's really hard. But at the same time, it's simple too. You don't have to be distracted. You know, you really can come back to the basics. You really can step down off the high horse of technology and what do they call it? So-called higher learning, and get back to the basic truths in life. Yeah, like that basic truth. The papacy is the Antichrist, just as Jesus is the Christ. But anyway, I wanted to make a video today just to say hello to all my subscribers, any new subscribers on the channel. Welcome you to our new series that we're going to be doing very soon, to be announced. I haven't announced it yet, but we have a new series with Michael in Germany that we're going to be doing on my channel. Jörg Lissman still has not contacted me in months, and I have not contacted him. I'm not sure if he's busy, or I think he's just too busy to get into any kind of discussions with me, and that's fine. I know he's doing sessions with Tom Fress right now, and that's the way things should be going, and I don't want to intrude with them, and rather we would like to bring the increase to God's people, increase in true Protestant learning that has been handed down from us from generation to generation. But we need to acknowledge something today. Today, we need to acknowledge that we are in bondage. We are in bondage to sin and cannot free ourselves. And yeah, we can say, when we're speaking of the persona, the person, when we are living in the person, we are supporting an image of someone. It's not, that's why it's so critical. Deny yourself. Pick up your cross and follow Jesus. So fundamental, so basic, so important to our walk in the faith. The faith that was once delivered to the saints. The faith that was once delivered to the saints. The blood of the martyrs of Jesus is on the hands of the enemy. It always has been. The enemy is not going to give up now, because he got a stronghold. And that's what's going on, as far as I can tell, in world events. We're seeing it all unfold right before our eyes, and everyone's going to see it. None of us are going to be ignorant of this. It's just going to be blatantly obvious. And that's why, my YouTube channel has become kind of a last resort. I didn't necessarily get up one morning and decide, well, I'll just create a YouTube channel. No, it didn't quite work that way, actually. I started studying what was going on with some of the members of my Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, and I discovered that they are Jesuit. That's right, they're the enemies within the gates of the church. So what does that mean? They've transformed the Church of America into the synagogue of Satan, haven't they? When you got people like, who is this guy? Billy Graham and his funeral. Remember that fiasco? Billy Graham and his funeral. People just propping him up on a pedestal. Remember what the scriptures say. Beware when men speak well of you. So did they to the false prophets. We're speaking of the old covenant here. Why don't the churches teach the old covenant? Why don't the churches teach Acts chapter 8? Dealing with the enemy? Shouldn't we know? Shouldn't we be prepared? Shouldn't we have people that actually know what they're talking about behind the pulpit? No! We have secret societies behind the pulpit. And that's good, huh? I don't think so. But that's the Church of America. Ripe for judgment. It's been that way for 20 years plus. Especially when we're talking about the ELCA. The old Evangelical Church of America. Excuse me, I said it again. Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. Well, and that could be said too for other denominations. Now, I'm not Baptist, but I know there are a lot of my friends that are. And you got a Freemasonic problem too. And you got to come to grips with that. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just, got to do your business and get out of the Babylonian church, man, because it's a lot bigger than what you think. You might think your church is great until you study their teachings. You have to study the doctrine. You have to study the Bible. Yeah, so people don't like to study the Bible because it convicts them of everything they've done wrong their entire lives. And that's just tough. Because we've all fallen short. And we've all been in bondage to this. And we're not going to be free of it till Jesus comes back and frees us of it. So that might mean many different scenarios. I'm not ruling out any of them. I'm just saying, got to be prepared. Got to be ready to deal with the problems that are coming, because they're coming quick. They're coming very quickly. And I don't see the people rising up. But we as individuals can come out of the person. We can come out of the persona. We can start to really think about these things. We can discuss them while there's still time to do that. We can come out and witness to other Christians. And like I said, this is kind of a last resort. All of the study, all of the constant effort it takes to unearth what really happened in the past. What is our true history? That's something you're going to have to work out for yourselves, my friends. You cannot accept what other men tell you, because the moment you do, you start putting your trust in man, and we got to have our trust in God and not in men. It's a very difficult situation we live in, and it's going to continue. It's not going to go away. It's going to keep going. It's going to increase. It's going to get more difficult, I think. I don't see it getting better. In fact, a lot of the prophecy in Revelation is really becoming more and more obvious as we read the book. the seventh vial. And that's kind of where we're at. We're at that point where the world just can't accept the biblical truth because of what it says in the first chapter of John. The light shineth in darkness, and the darkness understandeth it not. So, it's all really basic when you get down to it. It's not complicated. The problem is the situation we've been put into makes it complicated. There are a lot of complications. Because of the situation, people want an official explanation for everything. They want to be spoon-fed it like a television set. It's like this whole idea of consciousness, man's consciousness being able to be uploaded into a chip and memory banks and stored for some kind of eternal life or something. That's just the most absurd, stupid thing I've ever heard of. They completely eradicate your soul. Well, never mind, the soul never existed, did it? To some people, I guess. Let's get a true scientific quantification of what a human soul is. Well, human, huh? Here I go. I wish I didn't use that word. No, what is a man's soul? Well, I believe God created it. It's not man's creation. That is God's creation. And all of what we see every day, it's God's creation. He created all of it. What business does my persona have to do with it? What does my person have to do with it? You see, when you deny that person and you don't care for it anymore, it doesn't get in your way anymore. People can condemn you and say whatever they want against you, and it can't touch you because you've already denied that persona, the person. So, anyway, thanks for listening to my little rant. I know I'll have probably many more in the future. But, these are hard times. They're difficult times. We got a lot of problems that aren't easily solved. They're only compounding on top of other problems. Because, this is God's creation. He created it the way He did. And it serves its purpose. And we're all going to be held to account for it. So there's no use in trying to, think that this is some kind of game that we have to play. Like this is some kind of game that, we're going to be rewarded for calling out the other guy on, like there's some kind of trinket at the end of the rainbow or something. No, I think it's very simple. Professing Christians do not need to have a person. They don't need to have this so-called human, what is it called again? The dignity of the human being. That's what the papacy calls it. It's absurd. They're just taking away the biblical truth and giving you an ancient Roman lie, all based on ratio studiorum. And it's so hard to explain that to someone who hasn't studied this to really understand. Latin truly is the language of the Antichrist. There's no doubt about that in my mind anymore. Jesus is the Christ. Papacy is the Antichrist. Okay. So, we'll leave it at that. God bless and Maranatha.